Hi there, I'm Flora, a 37-year-old woman who has gone through a lot in her life. I was thinking about some of the most defining moments of my life the other day and remembered this incident. So I thought I'd share it with all of you. Let me introduce you to my husband, Phil. Phil and I share a deep love and understanding. We've always been there for each other through thick and thin. Despite the challenges we've faced, we've grown stronger together. I've never believed in the concept of a perfect marriage. There's always something that causes trouble in the relationship. Well, for me, that something was Phil's mother, Mabel. Ever since I met her, I could tell Mabel didn't like me. When others were around, she acted nice and friendly, but when it was just the two of us, she would say mean things that hurt my feelings. It was draining and always made me feel really small. Mabel's words felt like sharp knives. She would often tell me that her son deserved someone better than me. She would make fun of my achievements, saying they weren't good enough. Mabel even made hurtful comments about my looks. It seemed like she enjoyed putting me down one insult at a time. All those hurtful words made me doubt myself and my place in Phil's life. I felt like I was not good enough for his love. To protect myself, I had to find ways to deal with the situation. I reminded myself that Mabel's hurtful words were because of her own issues and insecurities, and not because of anything I did wrong. I tried my best to stay calm when I was around her, even though it was difficult. I focused on the love between me and Phil and the happy moments we shared. But no matter how hard I tried to remind myself that what Mabel said wasn't true, I couldn't shake off the insecurities that began to grow within me. I really can't stand Mabel anymore. She keeps saying really hurtful things. I've been trying to tell you about it for so long, but you won't listen. I'm struggling, so please just listen to me. Come on, babe. You're just making things up again. My mom would never do anything to hurt you. You're overreacting. No, I'm not making this up. It's been going on for a long time. She makes me feel small and insults me, and it's taking a toll on my mental health. I mean, haven't you noticed how much I've changed these past few months? I know my mom. She's a kind and loving person. I can't believe you're saying these things about her. You need to stop making up stories and causing unnecessary drama. I'm not creating drama. I'm telling you how I feel and what I've been going through. Stop treating me like my feelings don't matter. Why can't you support me this one time? I just can't believe that my mom would behave like that. Maybe you're just misinterpreting things or being overly sensitive. I can't accept that my mom would be so mean. I'm not misinterpreting anything. I've suffered with her hurtful words and actions for so long. I'm not asking you to choose sides, but I need you to believe and help me. Can we please find a way to address this issue together? Babe, I love you, and you know that I'll always support you, but come on. I know my mother better than you do, and I will not support you talking so rudely about her. I don't like it. Just be a little nicer to her next time and don't read into things too much, okay? Living far away from Mabel didn't solve the problem. I couldn't avoid her forever. There was always some event or the other that required me to meet her and spend time with her. I wanted Phil to see the truth, but I had to find the right way and time to talk to him about it. He was never going to believe me, no matter how much or how hard I cried or complained. It would never reach him. He loved his mother too much to believe that she would torment me. One day, Mabel called Phil out of the blue to say that her house was being renovated and she needed a place to stay. Phil immediately offered for her to stay with us. The thing is, he never asked me what I thought about that plan. He knew how distressed his mother made me feel. Even though he didn't believe me, the least he could have done was check in with me. It hurt to think that he would make such a decision behind my back. Why did you offer Mabel our place to stay without even asking me for my opinion? Do I not have a say in what goes on in our house? Well, I didn't think I needed to ask you. She's my mom. I couldn't let her be homeless because of some feud that you guys have going on. It's not a feud. She treats me badly and never passes up on an opportunity to say something incredibly hurtful towards me. Now she's going to live with us without any say from me? It feels like you care more about her than about my feelings. Look, I know you've had issues with her, but she's still my mom. I can't just leave her without a place to stay. I thought you'd understand, especially since she's family. I do understand the importance of family, but it's also important for you to consider how I feel. I can't pretend everything's okay when she constantly treats me like crap. Babe, can we please not do this right now? I'm sorry I didn't ask you about it, but regardless of what you would have said, I would have let my mom stay here. Just deal with it for me, please. Talking to Phil only made me angrier. How could he not see what was right in front of him? I wanted to lash out and yell at him, but I knew that it would be pointless. Phil had made up his mind and there was no way I could change it. I had to do as he said and just deal with it. When Mabel arrived, she acted all nice and friendly towards Phil and me, but as soon as Phil left the room, her true colors showed. She smirked at me with a mean look in her eyes and said she would make my life miserable. She told me that she would find a way to get rid of me because she was sick and tired of me. I felt a mix of emotions, angry, scared, and frustrated. How could someone who was supposed to be family treat me so badly? How could she also so casually tell me this? I knew I had to protect myself somehow because Mabel wasn't planning on leaving any time soon. Whenever she had the chance to bully me, she took it. It felt unbearable to think about enduring her bullying for who knows how long. I knew that I needed to expose Mabel's true nature to Phil, but I had to be careful. If I did it too soon, he might think I was trying to ruin his relationship with his mom, or that I was purposely throwing his mother on the streets when she had no place to live. So, for the next month and a half, I endured Mabel's constant bullying. She knew just how to target my insecurities and make me feel small. Her insults and belittling comments were like daggers to my self-esteem. She would mock my appearance. She would criticize the way I looked and dressed. Every choice I made seemed to be met with her disapproval, whether it was about my career, hobbies, or even the food I cooked. Mabel would find sneaky ways to hurt me and make me feel bad about myself. She would ruin important things I was working on. She would spill coffee on my important work papers or make a mess in the kitchen right before guests came over, and sometimes she would sabotage the food I spent long hours making. Then she would just stand there and laugh while I had to fix everything and face the consequences. She also liked to make fun of things I liked and enjoyed. If I told her about a book I liked, she would say it was a waste of time. When I talked about painting, she would say mean things about my skills and make me doubt myself. It seemed like she enjoyed taking away any joy I had in my hobbies and talents, making me feel like I wasn't good enough. Mabel also made hurtful comments about how I looked. She would say mean things about my weight. She took pride in making me feel bad about my body. She would laugh at my clothes and say that they were old-fashioned or didn't look good on me. It was like she wanted to make me feel ashamed of how I looked and destroy my confidence. But her bullying didn't stop at just words. She tried to make me feel alone by spreading rumors and gossip about me to anyone that I invited over to my house. She wanted to turn them against me and create problems in my relationships. It was like she wanted to control everything and see me suffer. The entire time she had a smirk on her face. She enjoyed the pain she caused me. It was a cruel game to her, a way to show her power over me. To make matters worse, standing up to Mabel wasn't easy. I was scared of her anger and the possible strain it could put on my relationship with Phil. I was emotionally exhausted. I felt like I had reached my breaking point. That's how I knew enough time had passed and I could easily put my plan into action. I made sure to never complain about Mabel to Phil even once in the past month and a half. So now, not only was it safe to carry out my plan, but I was also burning with rage. I wanted Mabel to feel the same pain she made me feel. During those 2 weeks of secretly recording Mabel, my emotions were all over the place. It was really hard to handle her constant bullying, but I knew I had to stay strong because I wanted to show everyone, especially Phil, her true colors. The thought of finally exposing her kept me going even when things felt really tough. Every mean thing she said and every mean laugh she let out hurt me deeply. Her words felt heavy and her insults stung. It was exhausting to deal with her meanness all the time, but I reminded myself that it wouldn't last forever. I took every mean word she said and every mean thing she did in stride. I knew that everything was being recorded and I wouldn't need to deal with her anymore very soon. After compiling and editing the footage, I gathered up the courage to show it to Phil. One evening, I asked him if he wanted to watch a movie together. It had been a while since the both of us kicked back and relaxed, so he happily agreed. As we sat down, I started playing the footage of Mabel's hurtful actions towards me. Phil was confused and shocked. He watched with growing horror the way his mother treated me. He asked me to explain what I was showing him. Finally, I had his attention, and it was my chance to explain. Do you see what I've been trying to tell you about for so long? I've not been lying or making things up. I've been dealing with her antics for the past 2 months while you've been happily unaware of everything. It was bad enough when she didn't live with us, but when you let her live here, I swear, babe, I wanted to leave. I had no idea. I thought you were just making it up. Why would I make it up? What would I get by making up silly stories? I don't know. I don't know why I never believed you or even heard you out. I guess I just didn't want to believe that my mother could be so cruel. I'm so sorry for not believing you and neglecting your feelings. Your mother is a monster. I hate to break it to you like this, but she really is. You've seen the evidence now. Do you see how much I've been hurting? Yeah. I feel so guilty for not standing up for you. I should have heard you out and at the very least attempted to find out if what you were saying was true. I'm truly sorry, babe. Thank you for finally believing me. If you didn't, I would have lost my mind. So it means a lot to me. Of course. I'd have to be a special kind of fool to tell you that you were lying when I just saw with my own eyes how my mother has been treating you. I want to make it up to you. Tell me what I can do to make it up to you. I'll do anything, I promise. I want Mabel out of our house. I can't bear to live with her any longer. I would completely agree with that, but I still don't want her to be homeless. Her house is still undergoing renovations and we don't know when it will end. Fine. How about we work out a compromise? Compromise? Yeah. I want you to get the name of the renovation company that's working on Mabel's place. I can definitely do that, but why do you want to know about that? I don't know, but my gut is telling me that Mabel is lying about it. Why would she lie, though? Did you just not see how happy she looked while tormenting me? Right. You're right. I'll get you the information. Just please forgive me. I'm sorry for what I did to you. It's okay, baby. I'll need some time to get over the things that Mabel did and said to me, but I'll be fine. And more importantly, we're fine. The next day, Phil casually chatted with Mabel during breakfast and found out the name of the company doing her renovations. I decided to take matters into my own hands and contacted the company to check on the progress. To my surprise, I learned that the renovation had actually been finished 2 weeks ago, and they only had to work on one room. That meant that she did have a place to stay but chose to come and live with us. If I was angry before, then I was furious when I found out that Mabel had lied to us. She purposely stayed over at our place just to torment me. I immediately told Phil about this discovery, and he too got really upset that Mabel had lied to us about her living situation. He promised me that he would talk to her about her lies and how she treated me during dinner. When it was finally dinner time, I anxiously waited for Phil to talk to Mabel about her bullying. But nothing had happened. I assumed that he would talk to her after we were done eating. After we finished eating, Phil offered to take our dishes in, leaving me and Mabel alone in the dining room. As Mabel began to say mean things to me and I had reached my breaking point, I couldn't take her bullying anymore. "That's enough! I've had it! I will not tolerate your attitude anymore. I want you out of my house. I never want to see you again." "How dare you? This is my son's house and you have no right to kick me out." "Let me make one thing clear. This house is in both Phil's and my name. Do you know what that means? I have just as much rights as Phil to decide who lives here." "Like I care. How dare you speak to me like this? I will make Phil throw you out of the house. You'll learn your lesson then." "What's going on? Why are you guys yelling?" "Flora yelled at me because I made a small mistake and now she's asking me to leave, Phil. She told me to leave both of you alone. Can you believe her? She's heartless." "Oh, please, Mabel. Everyone in this room knows that you have a house to go back to. Your renovations have been completed for a while now. You're just here to make my life miserable because you enjoy doing it." "She's lying. You know, I would never do anything like that. You know I don't have a mean bone in my body, Phil. This can't keep going on. I'm sorry, but Phil, you have to choose. I can't keep living with someone as heartless as her. So, me or her?" Phil looked wildly uncomfortable. He hated being put on the spot, but this was the perfect time for him to show me who his loyalties lay with. If he chose Mabel, I would walk out of the house and never return to him. I hated to see him in a position where he felt so uncomfortable, but it was necessary for me in our relationship. Phil took his time and thought about how to gently respond and tell his mother to stop bullying me, but Mabel didn't give a chance to speak up. "Shall I ask Flora to start packing her bags then?" "No, Mom. You got it all wrong. It's not Flora who should be leaving, it's you." "What? What do you mean? Why are you choosing her over your own mother?" "I've been trying so hard to be nice and understanding, but you're making it so hard. I can't believe you. Do you do anything else other than lie? You've lied to me about not having a place to live and about Flora being mean to you." "But Phil, you know I would never do such a thing. Flora is just exaggerating and making things up. You know how delusional she can be." "Enough! You are not allowed to speak of my wife that way. I've seen and heard enough evidence to prove that you've been lying to me. I know the truth now. Flora has suffered enough, thank you. I want you to leave." But, no buts. This is not how we treat each other. I can't allow you to continue bullying Flora, disrespecting my relationship with her. You need to leave by tomorrow morning, and for everyone's sake, never come back. The following day, Mabel left our house reluctantly, still trying to argue her case, but Phil and I stayed firm with our decision. We no longer wanted her negativity or lies in our relationship. Even after she left, she kept trying to get in contact with us, but Phil and I decided that it would be best if we blocked her everywhere. Looking back on our journey, I feel relieved and like I've become stronger as a person. Phil and I have become even closer as a couple. The wounds from Mabel's hurtful words slowly but surely healed, and now our marriage is thriving without her toxicity. If you're going through something similar, remember that you deserve love and respect. Don't let anyone make you doubt your worth. Reach out for help from people who care about you. It's never too late to take a stand and take back your power. Let this story remind you that love and trust should always be at the center of your relationships. Phil and I have a strong foundation of trust and support. Although it's been a while since this incident, we're excited for the future because we know we can face anything together.